All right, let's just jump right into it. Pretty much every company out there thinks it has a solid training program. But what does that usually look like? You've got some slides, a bunch of PDFs, maybe a shared Google Drive folder that, let's be honest, no one's opened since 2021. And then everyone's surprised when new hires take 3 months to get up to speed or when half the team fails the annual compliance audit. So today, we're going to break down one of the simplest solutions I've found for this mess, ProProfs LMS. We'll look at what it really does, who it's actually for, and how it can turn that training chaos into a real system. So let's just start with the million-dollar question. Is your company's training just duct taped together? Most businesses don't love to admit it, but the way they handle training hasn't really changed in the last decade. It's this patchwork of different files, random emails, and informal processes that's barely holding on. And I'm willing to bet these symptoms look painfully familiar. You've got those neglected PDFs and old PowerPoint decks, that shared drive that's basically a digital graveyard for documents, and the results? New hires taking forever to become productive, that sinking feeling before a compliance audit, and the simple fact that you have zero real data to prove who actually learned what. Sound about right? And here's the thing. When your training isn't an actual system, it's not just a minor annoyance. It creates very, very real problems that directly hit the bottom line. And you can see those costs right here. We're talking about real money lost to inefficiency. Onboarding is slow, which makes it expensive. Employees get disengaged when they don't have a clear way to learn and grow. And then, of course, you've got the huge risk of fines from compliance violations, not to mention that frantic last-minute scramble to find proof of training when an auditor shows up. So what's the fix? Is it some huge, complicated enterprise platform that you need an entire IT department just to manage? Well, what if the solution was just radically simple? And that's ProProfs Training Maker. It's a fully online learning management system, or LMS, and it's built around one core idea: simplicity. The entire point is to let you build, share, and track your training without needing to call IT or watch hours of tutorials just to figure out the tool itself. And when I say simple, I mean it. Building a course is ridiculously straightforward. The whole interface is just drag and drop. You pick your content, a video, some slides, a PDF, a quiz, and you just drop it into a module. You arrange the order you want people to learn in, and you hit Go Live. That's literally it. Now, once you have a real system in place, that's when things get interesting. You can start to automate everything. And this is where you go from actively managing training to having it just run on autopilot in the background. And a huge part of that automation, and probably one of the biggest time savers, is the AI course creator. If you don't even want to start from scratch, you can let the platform do all the heavy lifting for you. Here's how it works. You give it a topic, something like data privacy compliance. Then you upload any materials you already have, your old PDFs, your internal SOP documents. The AI takes all that and then builds out a complete course structure with lessons and quizzes in just a couple of minutes. I love this quote because it really nails the benefit. Instead of staring at a blank page and spending days trying to build a training module, you're just editing a really solid first draft. It is a massive shortcut, especially for teams that don't have a dedicated instructional designer on staff. Okay, but what if you don't even want to do that? This next part is what genuinely blew me away. Beyond the AI, there's this enormous library of pre-built courses already in the system. We're talking over 100,000 of them. And these aren't just generic, fluffy courses. This is expert-created training on really critical business topics like OSHA compliance, HIPAA regulations, sexual harassment prevention, and workplace safety. So you could literally deploy professional-grade training in a single afternoon. And for any of you compliance managers out there, this is where it really clicks. You get an automatic audit trail for everything. Certificates are issued automatically the second someone passes a course, and renewal reminders, they just go out on their own. You can finally stop chasing people down with calendar invites and reminder emails. Okay, so let's be crystal clear about who this platform is for, and maybe just as important, who it's not for. This distinction is really key. This is built from the ground up for businesses. We're talking HR teams running onboarding, compliance officers who absolutely need that audit trail, L&D professionals designing career paths, and business owners who've realized their informal process just isn't going to cut it anymore. It is not an academic platform for students who are prepping for exams, and it's built to scale.
The platform is designed to work just as smoothly for a small team of 20 people as it does for a big company with 2,000 employees. It doesn't get more complicated as you grow.
And hey, you don't have to take my word for it. The proof is right there in who's already using it. Big organizations like Adobe, Zoho, Lenovo, and Acer are already on the platform, and that tells you a lot about its reliability and its ability to scale. And of course, it's packed with all the features you'd expect from a professional grade tool. You can white label it with your own company branding, you can use two-factor authentication for security, you can make courses private or restricted, and you get 24/7 support. So if something goes wrong at 9 o'clock on a Tuesday night, there's actually someone there to help you out. So when you put it all together, what does it all really mean? Well, it's about a fundamental shift. It's about moving from the total chaos of scattered files and endless email chains to a single, controlled system where you can centralize, automate, and track absolutely everything. So let's quickly recap the biggest ways people are putting this to work. First, for streamlining employee onboarding, giving new hires a structured path instead of just telling them to shadow someone. Second, for automating all that mandatory compliance training. And third, for actually measuring skill development over time. Oh, and plus, there's a mobile app, which makes it perfect for remote teams. So I'll just leave you with this one last thought. Take a really honest look at how your company does things right now, and ask yourself this. Is your training actually a system, or is it just a random collection of files living in someone's inbox? Because the answer to that question, well, it changes everything.